Thank you so much. Now let me explain, before I introduce our plenary speaker, how this is going to work. We're going to hear a talk now, and after hearing a couple of addresses on the issue of pathways to well-being and contributions of Asian wisdom traditions. What are the contributions of these wisdom traditions to our lives here in North America right now, in this time period? After this, we'll break up into workshops where you can experience firsthand some of these wisdom traditions sort of in action, if you will. There will also be several other workshops in the coming weeks, and I'll make announcements on these as we proceed. So hopefully it will catch your fancy and you might attend in the coming weeks also. I'd like to invite now Mr. Ashley Poi, who is the chair of the organizing committee of the Asian Heritage Month Educational Roundtable for this year, who will give an address entitled Universal Spirituality, How Do I Feel in Heart, Body, and Mind Right Here, Right Now?
I get a spot. Good afternoon, everyone. Against the advice of my brother Justin, he said to me, bring your lecture notes with you. And I said, no, I've got to do something different today. I've got to actually practice what I am preaching. And perhaps over the course of the afternoon, you'll understand more what I mean by this. A quick anecdote. About 10 years ago, I'm sitting on my couch in the living room of my apartment in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Up pops a advertisement. They're advertising for a pill that will help you to ease anxiety when you're in social situations. So just picture yourself. You go to a party where you don't know anybody. You enter the door. You see all these strangers. Oh my goodness. Heart starts palpitating. Oh, what am I going to do? Hey, how you doing there? Nice to meet you. Have any of you seen this commercial before? Raise your hand. I've only seen it once and never again, and to this day I reflect upon this advertisement. Don't know if this pill is available, or this particular pill is available, but let's assume we don't have the pill. And we come into a social situation, we don't know anybody. We're just feeling very, very anxious in the heart, a lot of anxiety. Let's imagine that this ball is a knot of anxiety that is inside our hearts as we enter that party. We just feel really, really uncomfortable. What are we going to do about it? Maybe I'm just going to go to the washroom and hide there for a little bit. I'm just going to pull out my iPhone and maybe just check my Facebook page. Oh, there's my friend. I recognize that guy Jack over there. I'm just going to hang out with him at the corner for the evening. I see the bar. I think I'm going to go there. The examples that I just cited, I think, are very common human reactions to uncomfortable feelings that arise in our daily lives. We're human beings, and as human beings, we are naturally pain avoiders. We try and distance ourselves from things that make us feel uncomfortable. This is normal. Whenever we feel something uncomfortable, we're going to try and do something about it. Maybe we're going to distance ourselves from it. Maybe we're going to cover it up. Maybe we're going to struggle with the situation and somehow kick it out of the door, etc., etc. I, for one, have been this type of person throughout my life, but maybe more extremely so when I was, I guess, in my 20s. At that particular time, I would say I was a little bit of a control freak. Everything in my life had to be just in the right place for me to feel peaceful, calm. Until one day I got a wake-up call. I call it the perfect storm in my life. And I'm wearing a shirt today with this huge tidal wave that kind of represents this storm. After the storm passed, for the first time in my life, I really started to reflect on my life. Who am I? What's the meaning of this life of mine? I started to write a diary. I started going to the libraries to search books, particularly books on spirituality, religion, to find the answers I was looking for. And the first book that I picked up was a book on Zen Buddhism. And although I didn't understand totally what was going on in the pages, something connected with me, and it started me on a path. The path goes on to this day. And throughout the path, I began to gain a greater appreciation, not only for the particular tradition I was studying and practicing, but appreciation for all the world's wisdom traditions. I studied Hinduism, I studied Taoism, I studied Sufism, tea ceremony, I studied Judaism, the practices of the Hasidic Jews and teachings very much captivated me, and Christianity as well. I eventually went back to university, back to U of T, to do a master's degree on East Asian religion. But during that time, I also had a chance to study Christianity and Judaism as well. And I came to an understanding, my own personal understanding. I had this visualization of a bicycle wheel, all these spokes gravitating to one center. And I had this insight that each spoke represents a wisdom tradition that exists here on earth. And that all genuine wisdom traditions are all unique expressions, all gravitating to one point.